Good afternoon and thank you for joining us again on the program Flipside, where we talk about all kinds of social issues and propose solutions to them. Today we will analyze a situation that seems to be happening a lot, especially at this time of the year. You know, Flipside is the other side of news. Stories make headlines and they might not be given as much attention as we would love to give them. So we'll bring the matters here and give them all the attention that they deserve. If you're very conversant with news in ITV, you know, last week Saturday it made news that there was an accident around Uselushe through to Uselu Market, that region. There was an accident that knocked down 4 ladies. They were siblings and they died. Now, the big issue was not only about the fact that people died, it was the fact that there was gridlock because of that accident for hours. I personally was stuck in that traffic for about 2 hours before I could get to my destination. And in fact, we had to make a diversion for fear of losing our car or even our lives because of the mob. Now, on Flipside today, we're going to talk about road accidents and our response to it. Yes, an accident has happened. What should be the next course of action? What should we do? And how should we react when an accident happens? You as an individual watching and all the road safety officials that have been put in place to checkmate distance. I have 2 professionals in road matters in the house with me today. But before you meet my guests, we want to play the report for you on that accident. For those who missed out on it last Saturday, you're in luck. You can still watch it. So when we have that news, we'll come back and you meet my guest and we'll get talking about road accidents and our response to it. By the way, my name is Daisy Obaisiabon.
At least I...
Bonfire on the major and service lanes both sides of Uselu Lagos Road as youths in the area expressed their anger over the killing of 4 persons involving a BMW saloon car. According to eyewitnesses, the BMW saloon car, which was coming from Ugbo Oasis, crashed into the victims who were standing along the road to board a commercial bus.
The vehicle that crushed those people into the gutter overtook me around Uselu Market. So my greatest surprise, when I got to this spot, I saw that the vehicle had already crashed. It crashed into the gutter and pushed some people into the gutter.
Big girls, pregnant. I believe two are. One is pregnant. Okay. The woman too low there go be like 18 years. Waiting pain us, then they road, they wait for motor. That motor come, it jammed them. 4 of them died at the spot.
They alleged that the protest was peaceful until policemen arrived at the scene shooting to clear the road.
We don't see the reason why police will just come and start shooting at human beings. They are not animal. They are here to create peace. They're not fighting war. Then the next thing you start seeing them pointing gun to people, shooting. And while we are here, I shot 3 people.
This place now, you know, you see for person to even stand to the stop motor. So we beg government. At least police win the corner. They're supposed to address people. Make them talk to us so that make our mind calm down. They just begin to shoot gun.
Responding to the allegations against the police via telephone interview, Public Relations Officer, Edo State Police Command, DSP Chidi Wambuzo, said the police went to the scene of the incident to ensure that the protest did not degenerate into a breakdown of law and order, and denied that the police never shot at anyone as claimed by the protesters.
Accident occurred, 4 persons lost their lives, and the police commissioner, Edo State, immediately dispatched men of tactical teams of the command to ensure the protection of life and property. I don't have any idea about shooting.
At the time of this report, the bodies of the victims have been taken to the mortuary while the road remained closed. Commuters were forced to trek to their destination while the protest lasted. Boji Korea reporting.
Okay, so that was exactly what happened last week, Saturday. Big issue, loss of life, so many reactions there, the people, the police, everything was just happening all at once. The tires being burned and so many other things. Was that the right way people should have reacted? And what would have been the better, if that's not the right way, what would we have done? So meet my guests that will be discussing road accidents and our response to it with me today. I have the Managing Director at the State Traffic Management Agency, ETSMA. Here with me is Dennis Oloriegbe. Good to have you on Flipside today.
Hi, it's a pleasure having you, being with you. Edo State Traffic Control and Management
Oh,
Agency.
Control. Okay, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
And someone you've also met here before. We talked about road use, we talked about road signs. You know, he was the one who told us about this paint on the road, you know, that when you see some paintings go straight, white paints down, it's not because they have plenty paint, and then when you see it cutting, it's because the paint are finished. And it enlightened us on that. I have the Sector Commander, Federal Road Safety Corps, here with me, Anthony Oko. Good to have you here again.
Thank you very much for having me.
Welcome.
My pleasure to the audience.
So we want to talk about the way people responded first to this accident that happened, which is not a new response. It seems to be what happens all the time. I remember, I think that's 2 years ago, there was an accident that happened here at Iguosa. A car rammed into the trailers, the 7-up trailers that were parked along the road, and the person died on the spot. And the youths came out from Wukong and started burning the trailers. And several trailers were burnt, and now 7-Up has soldiers guarding the place since that time. So burning cars, mobbing people is not a new way people respond to accidents. Then police shooting guns sporadically to disperse the crowd. Well, I don't know. Personally, I'm going to ask you, sir, what would you, how do you see the way people reacted to these accidents?
It's a very wrong voluntary reaction. When an accident happens, instead of helping out on how to manage those who are involved, people take laws into their hand. Like the last accident, the one you have the documentary, it was very unfortunate. After the accident, we did an accident investigation. What is even the cause of that accident? Only to realize that it was due to fatigue. The occupant of that vehicle was actually, he went for a night vigil. I'm not going to mention the church. Then he slept off. And what is fatigue? Fatigue is extreme tiredness and when you don't sleep. So, and what is the simple antidote to fatigue is when you are driving and you are tired and the sleep comes, you have to sleep. We have what we call micro sleep, and it is caused by sleep debt. Sleep debt is a situation where you are supposed to sleep for 8 hours out of 24 hours. But when you sleep less than 8 hours, the other hours you did not sleep become a debt. That is a sleep debt. You are supposed to pay back. So I think what happened was that he left, they must have did the night vigil till 5, 6, and he was going back home instead of either to relax for some hours or for some minutes before going to his house, and he slept off, and the accident happened. But the information we have now is that those 2 people died, but the other 2 people are still in the hospital. So we are lucky 4 of them did not die, because that immediately what we heard from bystander was that 4 people lost their. But with what we have now, 2 are still alive, they are still in hospital. So we are out this period to actually talk to people, especially church pastors. You must be able to create chance for your members who are driving to rest before going to their houses. But to your question, the way people react is a voluntary, action, a wrong voluntary action from people, which is very, very wrong. When accident happens, people should not react by burning, by destroying government property. What do? Help those who are involved in the accident first, either through first aid or getting them to hospitals. But I know it's emotions, and it shows from what you saw, it shows that a lot of people are actually doing nothing, either basic unemployment situation. Because look at the massive crowd that came out. It took a lot, some of us who got there with uniform, we were even attacked. It took a lot of sense work, brain work from the commissioner, myself, and some other few people who got there to put down the crowd. This thing, till 3 that day, people were still stranded. So it took a lot of technicalities to manage the crowd, to calm them down, till we started removing the sound, which they said was the cause, which was not the cause, before they now came down. So we trying to advise people, don't take laws in your hand when there is accident. Rather, think of how to assist those who are involved in the accident.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Road 62, you all deal with accident cases a lot. And now that we're in Ember months, and the Ember months are gradually coming to an end, we just have 2 to go, and this is the peak. Everybody's traveling for Christmas, hustling for Christmas, returning and doing all stuff for Christmas. More accidents are bound to happen, and maybe more cars will be burnt if we're not careful, and more crowds will gather. But the police coming in to the rescue with guns. Now, 2 people died. Well, we had a record of about 4 injured as a result of the running around and trying to secure your life. They could have been stray bullets. So I'm going to ask you, Mr. Anthony Oko, how do you see the police response as well to the reaction of the crowd?
Thank you very much. You know that we carry out complementary duties. The police itself is reacting to the restiveness of the crowd. That crowd, that action by the crowd could result into a whole lot of worse than the crash that even took place. So the action of the police is right on their own side, because they are trained in order to maintain crowd control. That is their job. I want to say that the crowd were wrong. They were acting based on emotion. A lot of people have nothing doing. They are just jobless people. When we have crash, we call it road safety. We call it road traffic crash and not accident, because it's man-made. Obviously, the man, the vehicle that caused the crash, the man lost control. He was on a high speed, because if he wasn't on a high speed, the kind of damage, we have reduced. He was really on a high speed. And then the issue is that coupled with jobless people, and then people you may not know their grievances against either the government of the day or whatever, and they now started off something. So, and then that was how it is. The main thing in civilized society is move straight away in order to save the life of the people. It's not a question of whom are you, fighting against. You must save the life. If you really mean well for the crash victim, you move there, pick them, and take them to the nearby
regardless of who is
medical facility. You understand? Because 2 wrongs cannot make right. Their aim is maybe if they were able to get at the driver, they will equally keep. That will not bring back the dead ones. The right thing to do, pick the injured and the dead to the hospital. Okay,
but I'm thinking, shouldn't the police have used things like civilized countries? I've not been to any, but I've seen movies. They use water cannons, they use stun guns, they use tear gas. Why bullets?
The issue is this. The issue is that, most of these actions that, occur come spontaneously. It's not that maybe these things were all planned, that it will happen and they will have all these things. You understand? So, in this, within this our crime, I think the police did what is within their means. And let me tell you one thing: I cannot talk for police. All of us are complementary. We are uniform job. Yes. There are situations you look at. You try to actually manage it. Do you understand? So, in that, there are some. It's just a minimal force. In the process, some people might have some casualties here and there, but it's not that the casualties as a result of determined to, but in trying to make sure that incalculable damage, doesn't occur.
Okay, so we're hoping that in other times, the police would have these more modern things available. Let's assume that they used what was available for them to disperse the crowd. So maybe all these things should be made more available for them. You want to say something?
Yes,
Or, okay.
I was just looking at the using the accident as a case study. One, nobody died. The police never killed anybody, and the crowd was getting too violent because I was there myself. There was an attack on even civilians, not only uniformed people. So it got to a point the police have to despise them, and immediately they shot those bullets. Some people left, and the crowd became very small because more people were coming. So they are, like what he said, they are trained. They know when to release bullets to despise people. So it was not an organized riot where, we are going to riot tomorrow, labor will be coming out tomorrow. There was preparation to get water cannons and all that thing. This one was very voluntary. So and when they got there and they saw the rate, they were getting out of hand. There was burnt tires so that they will not destroy government properties. That was why they despised people using the bullets. So they were absolutely not wrong for using bullets because they were not shooting at the people.
Okay. Yes. I would want to ask you, is there any, because we see your men, both of you, we see them everywhere. You know, even in the road safety in the highway, you find them there. And I would want to ask you, boss of ETSMAN, what policies and procedures are in place by your agency on how to respond to accidents? Because I know you people control traffic, but if the road safety isn't there, do you have things in place to also help manage accidents when they happen?
Yes, basically, you see, any accident is a preview of the police. That is maybe, but when it comes to rescue, managing, we come in. Like if there's an accident, it is our responsibility, one, to help the people. It's our responsibility to get the vehicle out of the road so that other people can go on their journey. Then, and it's our responsibility to actually keep data too. That is the numbers of accidents, the numbers of people involved, the numbers of casualties, numbers of injured people. Those are our responsibility. But when it comes to, the accident, the attending to the accident, or like the accident, if an accident happens, who is wrong, who is right, who marks the tire, is purely a police response. That's why when accident happens, you see people waiting for the police to come and take who is wrong or who is right. We actually have a network of how we get information on accidents. Since our men are everywhere, when there's an accident, we have an emergency and rescue department. So when they call for emergency and rescue department, they will come with tow vehicle, they will come with first aiders. We even have a sick bay now where we attend to accident victims before proceeding to hospital. Because sometimes we take accident directly to some hospital. They ask for no report, so we want to avoid that. So we have a sick bay where we can attend to accident victims before proceeding to, so that we can stabilize them. So we have a network of how to get accident information so that we can move in and rescue the accident victim and also get the vehicle out of the way.
The road.
Yes.
Okay, so talking about vehicles on the road, it's not news that vehicles keep ramming into trailers along our roads. In Ugbo, we have trailers from Inigosa down through to Oluku. If you go to Sapele Road, in fact, the amount of trailers there is actually becoming like a tipper garage. You know, they are all over from Obed down to the bypass and several other areas like that in Benin spread across. I don't know if they pay tickets to park there. And sometimes they are just bad. And they say it's the duty of road safety to tow those vehicles out of the road. How true is that? And if it's your duty, why are they always still there? We talk about it all the time. Mr. Anthony.
Yeah, it's good that you brought this issue. The Federal Road Safety Corps, one of its core mandates is to make sure that the road is motorable and there are no obstruction on the highway. We are working, we've been able to present this issue, to the state government. It's the state government, it is the state government job to create parks where all these heavy-duty vehicles will move in there and park, so that they don't park along the road. With this particular issue, I've had a discussion with the state government, especially the governor, even the commissioner of infrastructure. They have put a lot in place. That is one of, in terms of PPP, whereby these trailer parks, there are some that have been ongoing, there are some that have been abandoned, yet to be completed. This, you'll agree with me that these are heavy axle load vehicle, and the porosity of the soil here. And most of them, if they decide to go into or move into these trailer parks that are yet to be completed, they sink. You see, so I'm not trying to hold brief for them, but I've met with almost all the union, of trailer drivers, and they've actually confided that it is not because they are going against the rules, but because of this issue. So what we are doing, pending the time the rains, subsides, and then we are in the dry season. The government here has stated that that's when they will now construct almost all the trailer parks, right from the one in Aviele down to Aho, then other ones, maybe the one in Abo Park, we have the one, the Peng or NMTC on. Then we have the one in Saple Road by Dangote, office there. So once they are fixed, I'm sure you definitely not going to see some of these things, because if you go for enforcement now, there's a way it will be looked at. But what we do mostly is public enlightenment, so that they don't block the road. We've done their predicament. Okay. Presently, what we have been doing here is carrying out public enlightenment on this specialized kind of drivers. We call them articulated vehicle drivers. So I've just done that of the Dangote drivers here, that of the Nupeng, NMPC. I'm now, any moment from now, between this week and next week, I'll go to Aho and carry out that of Aho. So all these things are in line. Then immediately after Aho, I'll now go to Aviele. After Aviele, I'll go to Bua, Okbela. So these are what we have put in place. Okay. If you watch, it is not in their interest to actually. What we understand is that most of our roads are really bad. The roads have actually expired. They were built, these are 40-ton, these are roads that were built to carry 40-ton vehicles. But that was in those days. But the vehicles that are now plying these roads are over 80 tons, and that's why these roads are collapsing. And that is why and then the trailers and the tankers fall and get stuck and then cause vehicular gridlock. But that is one thing we do in FRSC, because all our formation are like a chain around Edo State. From Okbela down to Igara, Aushi, Irekpen, Uromi, Abudu, Benin, up to Ohosu. That's where we have, and then Target, and then Owanesige. You have all FRSC formations, then Sapele Road. So wherever it happens, our people get there to,
remove the vehicles.
Resolve the traffic situation there, whether it's in terms of rescue operation.
Okay.
Because we have 24/7 rescue team in all the formation we have. Once it happens, you see that the call center here, because Edo State has call center, I was neck deep in an instrumental to the establishment of call center here, and then the issue of ambulance agency in this place. So I've had a discussion with the government agents here, and we've discussed about, so all these things are being incorporated in Edo Seman. So but it's still being built up.
Okay.
With it. But the one that is working very well is that of the call center. Immediately they call me, even 2 a.m., 3 a.m. And my men are always there. And once I call my men, they go there to try to ameliorate the situation.
Okay.
So it has been, it has been like that.
All right. Okay, so maybe by this time next year, we invite you again for this program. We'll be playing back these things you just said, comparing it with how much effects implementation has been done. We don't lose records, and this is going to be on YouTube, so it's an everlasting record. Cool. Etzman is always working under the sun, in the rain, with dedication and selflessness, like NYC people. But we also have been hearing cases of them abusing drivers.
Okay.
I know Etzman might say the drivers are the ones abusing them and punching them and all of those things. But what are the major challenges you are facing right now in terms of road traffic control and getting drivers to cooperate? Most of the traffic lights are not even working properly well now. So what's your major challenge? Do you need more hands? Do you know?
Yeah, definitely. In traffic management, personnel are not always enough.
Okay.
But you keep building. Like, we started, this is the crowd we started with just a little above 300, so that we are looking at having more hands. But with altercation with driver is normal, but it's not too common because our operations are based, if you are apprehended, there must be facts. If I say you violate traffic light, it must be recorded. If I say you are parking in an obstruction, it must be recorded. So that have reduced altercation with driver because they know arresting them, we must have the proof. But once in a while you have attack here and there, but we've been able to handle it. It's not as violent like what we have in Lagos, where you see the motorist will be naked, he wants to go under his vehicle. We've not had such serious cases, but we have minor cases of assault. And assault in our own booking has an additional fine. Like if you assault an officer, when you pay, you will be forced to go for a compulsory training program. If you violate, if you take one way and you are caught, you will be forced to go to either psychiatric hospital or you go for a compulsory 2 days training program. Oh. So, because those are stringent traffic offenses. Okay. So, with the motorists and with offenses, I think there is compliance. Like the traffic lights, you said they are not working. They are actually working, but I discovered that the traffic lights use solar. So sometimes it collapses when there is no sun and because of the rain. But hopefully, all the ones that have such issue, the Ministry of Infrastructure is handling it. That's why you discover that the rate of breakdown of traffic lights is not as common. But we still have 1 or 2 areas where the traffic lights still malfunction. But with other places, that is why if they malfunction, we don't arrest in such places. It's either we go for manual or we don't allow people, or even when people violate it, we don't arrest in such places when the traffic light is malfunctioning.
Okay. Well, now, I don't know whose duty it is to check the number of cars we have in a state. Is it the road safety or it's Etzman? or maybe it's another agency entirely. But whose duty exactly is it to make certain the amount of cars we have and the roadworthiness of those cars? In Benin, about 3-4 years ago, at least I've been in the part I stay in Benin, I've been here for almost 7 years now. And the number of cars I'm seeing on the roads have tripled. There's always hold up. And before, this place used to be one area where free entry, free exit and all of that. Let's not even talk about Saple Road or Ekenwa Road and all those other places that are already fully developed. We're just developing these areas and it's already jam-packed. And there's always a car spoiling on the road, increasing the traffic, plus the many, many cars. So whose duty is it to check the number of cars that enters our state? Do we have that kind of statistics between you, Etzman, or road safety? And then who checks the roadworthiness of these cars?
Let me come in to this. I don't think there's anyone who should be able to prevent vehicles
From coming.
coming in and going out. I mean, they are all citizens, except
Yes.
there's anything. But there is one thing I broached while I made a courtesy visit last week to the new Commission for Infrastructure. I told him that in order to reduce some of these gridlocks and safeguard the safety of lives and property of citizens, especially during rush hour. Rush hour, we have rush hour at least twice in a day. The morning when people are doing school run and then going to work, and when the students are coming back and the workers are equally have closed to come back. You do not. They should checkmate these heavy-duty vehicles carrying, petroleum substances or petroleum products like diesel or PMS. And then some of them may carry gas, because these roads were built long ago, so they are, they are a bit narrow. And then they come here, they are in gridlock with smaller vehicles and cars and all this, and then all struggling to have to have their way. In the process, this thing could lead to spillage or falling, and there will be there may be fire outbreak. It can be very cataclysmic, So I raised this issue, and he assured me that he's going to really work on it. Okay. I just want to say here is that there are a lot of some of these things should be done, because in Imo and some other states, heavy-duty vehicles, tankers, trailers don't enter the city until in the night. Because if you agree with me, these kind of vehicles, articulated vehicles,
cause more traffic.
They cause the traffic gridlock you are just talking about. And then another thing is that when you have roads, other network of roads that are good, it will reduce the very minimum level, the gridlocks, because once motorists have alternative routes, it will disperse to some extent the number of vehicles that are on the highway. Another thing to reduce to the very minimum, to reduce at least the issue of vehicles on the road, is the use of high-capacity buses. If that's the way, it will help in removing a lot of vehicles. People ordinarily who should have gone wherever they want to go in their cars will now make use of buses, these high-capacity buses, boarding, pay, token, get to their offices or to the school, and then, So all these things will reduce to the barest minimum level. In the low countries, people don't just use their cars at will, go to work, and they make use of all these high capacity because they were made available and at a very, very affordable price. They have high price. They have tram. They have many other, many other types of, transportation. For those who can make use of the train, then those who can make use of the boats or canoe, or to get to their destination.
So many options.
Yeah, they have options. So at the end of the day, you find out that you even reduce pollution. You even reduce pollution to the very more level, and then so that people can have a fresher air to breathe, and then be able to be healthy. So these are the things we get there anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, we get there, but there are some basic things we can do. You are mentioning the issue of mechanically deficient vehicles.
Yes.
And that's the reason why we are talking about these people, the VIO. VIO job is to checkmate mechanically deficient vehicle. We have a lot of mechanically deficient vehicles in the city, in Edo State. Most of them without windscreen, most of them, they are just barely, and the people there are just driving. And one thing about the citizen here is that they don't take care, they don't look at their, their safety. They just bought any vehicle or anything that just come up that are going their way, they just bought. I had last year, by this time last year, when I was going out, going for my flag off, met a vehicle that had no windscreen, both front and back. The front was open. The back, you used this waterproof. No headlamps, no brake lights. I had to practically stop it. I more or less checkmated him. I double-crossed him with my vehicle, and he stopped. And I had to disembark the entire vehicle, and I picked the vehicle. Could you imagine that the people came here and say, road safety, leave this man now. This man, that is what he's using to eat. I mean, that is his means of livelihood. And all. So I say, means of livelihood, can't you see that the people are endangered? Can't you see the kind of vehicle that is supposed to be retired, and kept in a mechanic, or in a junkyard. So at the end of the day, we ended up, taking it to my office, and then made sure that he tries to fix most of these things. But all these things is orientation of the people. Our people are yet to be oriented on the safety of life and property as a result of road safety itself. So, orientation orientation on how to use the road. If the pedestrians do not know how to use the road. For instance, look at the people that were killed in last Saturday. It's because they were bereft of the knowledge of how to use the road. You leave the service road, the service lane, you go there where you go to where you have the high distance, where it's very dangerous for you to actually flag down vehicle and board. It's because the average citizen here do not know how to make use of the road. And that is the reason why road safety has, right from time onset, domesticated road traffic, road safety. And and it's in the curriculum of their studies. Nigeria Educational Research, have decided to put them. We actually wanted to have a book on road safety and to be taught as a subject. But because they said that it's already full, that students have as much as 17 or 18 subjects. So what they did was to now break them, and then decided to infuse them in most of the subjects. So it's a way of equally teaching. And then we have road safety club in primary schools and secondary schools, in the state here. The same thing, ditto, all other states, have them. And being monitored, by the FRSC formation within that area. And then that is why, and then we have the one, the NYSC Road Safety Club. So the main thing is to catch them young, catching them young, and they grow, and they seem to understand, know better than their parents, who do not know. So when they grow, so that in future we'll be able to have
knowledgeable citizens.
Yes, than their parents who didn't actually want to imbibe road safety culture.
Okay, so we're still on Flipside. We're not done. We need to know the plans these two bosses have put in place for the Christmas, because we're not going to be talking about road use and road safety this December anymore. We have them here now, so we're just going to deal with that one. But we'll go on a break, let them catch their breath, and when we come back from that break, we would. Okay, so no need. Do you need to catch your breath?
No. Let's
finish it up. Okay, so talking about December, Christmas period, more issues, more cars, more people, more everything.
Yeah.
What are your plans to help control traffic?
Yes, some of the plan is what we are doing now, sensitization and public education.
Okay.
We have a lineup of activity which we have started from September, this October, November, December. One of them is we are starting a sensitization program on fatigue. You know, Nigerians pray. Nigerians can pray. They are the best prayer warriors in it. So people are, there's going to be a lot of Christian activities. People will go for night vigil. People will go for prayer section. So we want to teach people, how do you manage yourself after every Christian activity? After a long night of vigil, what do you do? And if eventually you are driving, there is you are fatigued, you are tired, what do you do? Then what is the public responsibility? We are talking to filling stations owner. I was somewhere in Denmark. I saw a filling station and I saw 2 empty space. Then I asked, what is this space meant for? They said, oh, this one is meant for disabled people. If you have a disabled chair, we can allow you to be here. Then I said, what of this empty one? They say it's for people who are fatigued. If you are driving, you are fatigued and you are close by. And if you come and you tell the management, I'm fatigued, they were going to keep you there. They watch over your vehicle while you rest before you go. So we are also talking to individuals, owners of filling station. What are your responsibilities to help people who are fatigued too? So you can also drive to a filling station without buying fuel and say, look, I'm tired, get me a place, you park somewhere. So that is one of our responsibilities. 2, we will be sensitizing interstate transport owners. You know, what do you do? How do you see, we want people to start their journey from Lagos and get back to Benin safely. What are your responsibilities? How do you make a dangerous overtaking? What are the criteria of overtaking alone? What are some of the things you must not do this period? Starting from over speeding. You are going to have people, there's going to be much passenger, and people want to cut corners. Where you go a whole day, you go to Lagos with your passenger, now because there is enough passenger, you want to make it twice, you want to make it, so what do? We will sensitize them, we will talk to them, then overloading. An average person who is traveling home want to carry things they want to use, so people will be forced to now overload, you see, overloading, so we're going to be talking to people. So throughout, we have a lot of program from now to the last day of December, the 31st, you know, even 31st, what they call the crossover night. People are going to get drunk, people are going to be excited. Your sisters, your brothers who are in diaspora will be coming back. Some are going to even come with special wine from abroad. So we are getting ready with alcoholic machines. We go to park, we want to check these people, their rate of, alcohol, are they drunk? And we are going to be talking to business people who are dealing in alcohol. Don't sell alcohol in parks, in major parks where people are traveling. And we're talking to drivers, you want to drink, after your job, after driving, you can go and drink. So, especially, we are going to be having a major sensitization, park sensitization program. We'll be going to 2 different parks to hold it. That will be December. That will be December. We're going to put drivers together. We will talk to them. We will make them realize the effect of doing some things. And we'll be talking to drivers on what not driving, what they call freeway. Where you see a driver, somebody want to conserve fuel. It's very common because you want to save fuel. As you are driving, you put off your ignition because you believe when your engine is not working. But with the aerodynamic cars we have, the vehicle could just pack up. It can affect it because with modern vehicles, we have what we call anti-lock brake system, that is ABS. So the gear, the ignition, the steering, everything is connected together. So if one fails, everything will definitely pack up. So it is wrong for people to drive and put off their engine where the vehicle is still running. That is what is called freewheel. So we're telling them a whole lot of things that can result to accident and how to manage it. And if eventually you are involved in accident, what do you do? Then talking about brake failure, tire blowout, those are things we are going to be going to park to sensitize them. So, and those are major things we will go to 2 parks. We are going to choose one will take place very close to it, somewhere at Ogbowo, and one will be taking place either at Ikoba, where we're going to put people together and talk to them. So those are some of our activities
for this
going to do. And we are fine-tuning, energizing our traffic mayor agents. Those are our volunteers who are going to be helping us. Because we can't be everywhere. Because we want to get to everywhere, even what we call community initiative project, areas we cannot cover. How do we build up people, volunteers like you to help to manage traffic in such places? So those are some of the things we'll be doing for this Ember month period.
Okay.
Yes.
And the last question on the show today before we go, Sweden and several other countries hardly even records accidents. Also last year they celebrated that there was no road accident or anyone dying from an accident on the road.
In Sweden, Vision Zero.
Yes.
Okay.
And we also have Minnesota that records as low as out of every 100,000 cars that are moving on their streets, we have as low as 2.9 standing a chance of dying from an accident. If there's even an impact with a car, it's going to be very minimized. And in Nigeria, according to these statistics, is World Health Organization stats, okay? In Nigeria, we have about 1,100 people likely to die from every 100,000 vehicles that have an accident. And Nigeria is recording the 3rd highest number of the country with the standing at number 3 when it comes to death as a result of road crashes. And we also, in Nigeria here, we have road crashes leading to the 2nd major cause of trauma and other kinds of problems following suit. And we want to be like all these other countries that are celebrating no accident, reduced accident. I mean, I can just imagine living a life like that. I'm driving and I'm not afraid that the person driving next to me is half crazy, and we're all going to be sane and we'll drive and get to our destination safely. So a word to drivers, pedestrians, and everyone who uses the roads as we celebrate Christmas. So if we are going to be talking about anything accidents, it's going to be a very legal aspect of it, because some people need to make money from all these accidents matters. I'll teach you how. But for now, let's give a word to road users as we do Christmas now.
Yeah.
To stay safe and act right.
Yeah, the motorists and the pedestrians are all road users. I want to state that the Ember month is not, it's just like any other month from January to August. It is the state of mind. People see Ember months at the period with which they run around in order to make money so that they can celebrate their. When someone may have stayed January to August, you have not been able to achieve. Very soon, December, and then everyone. And those people that have mechanical deficient vehicle will just go there, put up one or two things, and everyone is, it's just like everyone is in frenzy. Before you know it, you have increased vehicularization on the highway. And then, because of that, people ordinarily, who should have used their phones to make transactions, are physically boarding vehicles and moving from point A to point B. In the process, because you have increased vehicularization, definitely, and they are moving on at very high speed, you have crashes here and there. And then people say, there is something, maybe there's a juju, or there's something that normally makes people die, on the distance. The whole thing revolves around patience. The whole thing revolves around patience. If you are patient, and understand that crashes as a result of, human beings, it's not as a result of maybe voodoo or whatever. It is, we still maintain that crashes are not accidents. They are crashes because they are man-made. Accidents are things you do not know how.
It just happened.
It just happened, like falling of trees, or all of a sudden, something catches fire, or a building just collapsed. These are accidents. You don't attach such to cars crashing, because it is human beings that are moving you. So he knows when, he knows that he's on a high speed. When a driver is on 150, 60 kilometers per hour, of course, you know he's heading to perdition.
He's going home.
Of course, he's going home. He asks God, I'm coming home. So that's why we are maintaining at the set standard of 100 kilometers per hour for car. Bus, 90 kilometers per hour. Articulated vehicles, 45 kilometers per hour. That's diesel-propelled vehicles. So if everyone, all motorists, even including passengers, understand this, we will reduce to the minimum level. What you mentioned about Sweden, we will be able to, we try as much as possible to, sort of see how we can equal them. But it's, theirs is an advanced country that, they have everything. Like I mentioned, the issue of tram, high-capacity buses, all other alternative, transportation mode, which they now use. And cars, the use of personal vehicles are reduced to the minimum level. And that is why they are achieving, what they are achieving now. So the main thing is patience.
Yes.
And make sure you drive defensively. See the other driver or the other motorist as an insane person. So, and see yourself as the only sane person on the road. Defensive driving is when the other vehicle is even coming towards your own lane. Don't go and struggle. Don't claim right of way. Give him a chance. Okay. Even move to the shoulder. That is defensive driving. And make sure that is driving for. Make sure that you avoid any collision. So that at the end of the day, we won't have anything that we'll regret about. Okay. So patience is the ultimate. Yeah. Patience is the key.
Okay. So I want to say thank you to the both of you for honoring my invitation. This invitation actually came very late, and these are bosses that are very busy, and they took our time to come here today to sensitize people Information, they say, is power. It's key. You need it to survive. For everyone who has missed out on this show today, you would not forgive yourself unless you watch it. So just go on YouTube right now and get the full edition of this program. You can also watch it again tomorrow morning on GoTV and StarTimes. But if you know you're on point and you're a recent new generation person, YouTube is like the easiest thing for you to watch. We need to start acting right when accidents happen, regardless of who is at fault. While you're busy trying to burn a car or kill the person who hit another person, you can save him and make him pay for damages. And the family who lost a child or an adult will gain and benefit at least something. They might not get the life back, but they will get something out of it all. So we need information, we need enlightenment, we need education. And let's channel our emotions into the right things, not burning cars and causing traffic. I suffered on Saturday and I wasn't happy at all. So thank you so much for watching and have yourself an amazing rest part of the day.